By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, and by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and the serpent. Reveal what is hidden, that we may transform it into light. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Today we walk the path of the dove and serpent spread, an 11-fold journey of transformation. Each position reveals a unique aspect of your journey, alternating between the essence of your being and the events that shape your destiny. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Queen of Swords as position 1, the station. This reveals your sense of self, your essential personality, your preoccupation. It's something that's kind of on your mind when you close your eyes at night. And the Queen is always looking at the past, right? So all the queens are really about how we end things, right? And how you end things is you need closure. You need an explanation. You need to understand why things happen the way they did. Okay? And so if something is ending in your life, and this could be anything. It could be that we're ending the day. So at the end of the day, before we close the day, we sort of have to go through the day and see how everything fit together and kind of understand what happened and sort of put the pieces together, you know. If this is the ending of a relationship, same thing. If this is the end of the party or the end of the dinner with your family or something, we kind of, as we're on our way out, we're thinking about it. We're trying to understand what it all meant, trying to understand why things happened the way they happened, what was the meaning of certain phrases or words or certain, things that were said by people. So like I said, the queens are all about how we end things. Let's put this card into a little bit of context and see what might be going on here. You got a 10 of Swords, okay. 10 of Swords is definitely an ending. How are we dealing with the ending of something right now? We have a 5 of Cups. You have a 6 of Wands. We have the Eon, Judgment, a rebirth, a reawakening. And we have a Princess of Swords. Interesting, okay. On the path of the Serpent, we have a 7 of Swords. We have the Emperor. There's your typical Emperor energy. Always seems to be in your readings these days. The Aries energy. And we have the Pisces energy as well. Your power card, your superpower card. And that is the Moon card, rules the sign of Pisces, yeah? And we have a 3 of Swords. A lot of air energy today, isn't it? Quite a bit. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor, infinite and unknown, and we're going to send it right over there with Mr. Ed, the little horse. We're not going to look at that card, of course, until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Yeah, let's use our intuition. But let's look around the room first. We've got 1, 2, 3 major arcana energies. We've got fire, we got water, we got air, and air. A lot of air energy. It really is about our thinking. It's about how we're understanding, how we're perceiving, how we are relating to something. And it could be about a relationship in general, right? How we're sort of understanding the ending of something and not just understanding the ending, but understanding the whole thing. Let's say it's a relationship with a person. It doesn't have to be. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the ending of a job, whatever. It's a relationship, right? You're sort of recapitulating the entire relationship. You're doing this kind of retrospective. You're doing this debriefing, where we it's kind of like doing the autopsy on it, right? Where we're doing this, we're breaking it down, everything that kind of happened, doing the post-mortem on something, yeah? and trying to get all of our questions answered so that we can then move on to what's next. Okay. Let's look at position 2. Position 2 is the battlefield. Okay. This is where you're being called to a quest. This is where you're being asked to sort of be courageous, right? And it's the 10 of swords. It's the bird cage. This is a card that is, kind of asking you to tie up all the loose ends and put the pieces away and sort of put the thing back in the closet, to be done with it, And it's the challenge for you. This is the situation that is really testing your strength and your resolve, I think, is to let go of something, to free yourself from something that's really holding you down. It's kind of it could be forming a bit of an anchor in your life if we don't let go of this. Testing your strength. Okay, this is where we're being challenged to grow and transform. Of course, the 10 of Swords itself is a card of ruin. It's a card of the ending of plans. It's the card maybe of recognizing that, okay, this maybe was a bird cage, and maybe I should be kind of happy to get out of it. In a way, maybe there is some sort of silver lining. Okay, Spirit is asking us now to free ourselves from something. Okay, to kind of put it to bed, to let it be, to let it go. Yeah. To not allow it to hold. If we cling to this now, it's certainly holding us back. Okay. So we have the Sun in Gemini with this card. So it's illuminating something that we've been clinging to that is now acting as a prison for us. It's acting as a bird cage. We're clinging to something that is keeping us from progressing, keeping us from moving on, from going forward, from growing. By letting it go, we're able to spread our wings and do whatever is coming next. Okay? The card under everything, under the surface, is position 3, and it's your soul position. Now, I want to also point out about the 10 of Swords, that the position here is showing us what we need to do to gain our freedom, right? It's showing us that, we kind of have a choice here. We can stay inside the birdcage or we can get out of the birdcage. And if something is ending, and of course, that's what the Queen of Swords is dealing with, is an ending. It could be that we know something is ending, but there's still part of us that's kind of like trying to stay in it, trying to cling to it. Okay? So this is a theme really of like, do we stay in bondage or do we get our freedom? Do we choose our freedom here? Okay? Maybe this isn't something that you're choosing. Maybe you didn't choose to break up, or you didn't choose, maybe you got laid off from your job, or, whatever. It's not necessarily something that you said, hey, well, guess what? I'm leaving, right? It could be something that happens to us, and we're trying to understand how maybe it's happening for us. Okay? But anyway, the third position is the soul position, reveals your unconscious drive. This is kind of the emotional landscape beneath the surface. And of course, it's a 5 of Cups. It's disappointment, right? So I think that this is something that we weren't expecting, but it's an ending nonetheless. And I think this was an ending of a pretty fiery partnership of some kind. Either it was a really intense job that we had for a short period of time, or it was a very passionate relationship. It's something that's very fiery and didn't last a long, long time. Okay? Well, maybe it's you're choosing to end it too, right? Maybe you chose to end it because it was not what you thought it was going to be. Okay? The 5 of Cups is a card that says something should be here, but it's not. Okay? Maybe this is you kind of saying like, I know I need to end it because this is not a situation that's making me happy anymore. Okay, these are kind of our hidden feelings and hidden desires here that are shaping our destiny a little bit. If there's disappointment, then there's obviously a need for some kind of change. Anytime we get a 5, It's basically Spirit saying, look over here, right? So we get a 5 in the realm of your feelings. And that's Spirit's way of saying, look at your feelings. Be very aware of how you feel. We don't have to sink into this feeling. We don't have to be immersed in it. We don't have to identify with this feeling, sadness, heartbreak, disappointment, whatever it is. We don't have to become the feeling, but we should look at it and say, yeah, I feel hurt. I feel sad. I feel disappointed. I feel, let down, whatever. What do I do with that feeling now? What does that mean? And I think maybe you're choosing to end something. Kind of the vibe I'm getting. That once we recognize what our feeling is, then we have this sort of Queen of Swords energy that says, I need to end something. And the way you end something is not abrupt. When you end it, or when something ends for you, you don't immediately move on to the next thing like, all right, see ya. You tend to stay and want the answers. You want to do the post-mortem. You want to get the closure. You want to ask the questions. Okay? In order for you to kind of try to feel better. For instance, the Queen of Wands, on the other hand, instead of the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Wands either ends something quickly and is already miles down the road somewhere else, or something gets ended on them. They get broken up with, they get fired from their job or whatever, and they're just immediately in the newspaper, online, looking for the next job, or they're already like, they're already at the next interview, And so there's a difference between these two. And the Queen of Swords is more retrospective. And I think it's important for you to understand how you feel about something, and to then use your Queen of Swords energy to understand, okay, why does it have to end? Why is it ending? What does it mean to me? Can I see the logical kind of narrative, the flow of information here, the flow of events and how they connect together, and can I make sense of it and understand it? Because that's going to allow me to then close the door on the past and move toward the future. Now, the fourth position is the dwarf position. This is that past event. This is what is ending. Okay, and this is a victory. Okay, this is the name of the card, right? 6 of Wands is a card of victory, and it kind of feels like this was a cause for celebration. Right. Sometimes the position underneath the surface, this can be a realm of like laughter, family, togetherness, really feeling like I want to feel good, and I don't feel good anymore. It doesn't feel, like I'm not resonating with this situation anymore. But this was a very resonant situation. Let's say, for example, this was you had a very short project timeline, right? Very short project to do with a group of people. And you all worked together for like just a couple weeks or something, right? And it was amazing, and the energy was flowing, and all the creativity was there, and you succeeded, you finished the project. And then we're kind of sad that it has to end. Okay, so that could be the scenario. This is not something that we can't just say, hey, let's just stay here. Let's just linger here. Let's never leave this place, you guys. Like, come on. It's, you're at school and you're taking your classes, and you love the people that are in your classes or in your dorm or at the technical school or whatever. You love all the friends that you've made, but then like graduation day, it's a big victory. It's a big win. But it's kind of sad because like now we're all going to go our separate ways. Okay, so we know that something has to end. We know that we can't linger there and cling to it, because that's going to be really like holding us back, and it's probably not practical anyway. But this was not a bad situation. This was something that maybe passed too quickly. It was very, very intense, but kind of short-lived. This was a moment of pure harmony and resonance and energy, and just like this symbiotic kind of vibe with everybody. And it could be one particular person. It could be this was you with the job. This was you in that group, with a group project or the team sports or something. It's just like You're playing the baseball game and you love it so much. It's so much fun, but then the game's over. You win, you lose, whatever. The game's over and it's kind of sad. We feel the Five of Cups and I don't want it to end. Okay, but I know it needs to. So that's kind of the vibe that we're dealing with. And then when we're in our Queen of Swords energy, we're looking back at this event and we're trying to really like remember everything. We're trying to go through all the memories and make sure they stay put. I don't want to forget this, so I'm going to like relive it as often as I can so that it can stay stuck in my memory. Okay? Or we're trying to look at the past and we're trying to we're trying to run through all the memories so that we can see the narrative, so that, again, we can imprint it into our memories, into our kind of long-term memory. But, maybe also to kind of to understand and to just think about it, for whatever reason, whenever we do that, for whatever reason we do that, we think about something after we've left it, and we remember it. We remember the good times, the bad times. We remember when we used to laugh, when we used to cry, all the challenges. Remember when you slipped on that banana peel? And it doesn't really matter what it is. But with that Queen of Swords, it's somebody that can't just be done with the old thing and come on, whatever's next. Let's go for the new stuff. It has to sit there and think about it for a while, because it changed us in some way. It meant something to us. Not that it doesn't mean anything to the Queen of Wands, but the Queen of Wands is more excited about, okay, that one's done, now what's next? Kind of ready to continue, to keep moving, and finds the deeper meaning in the sort of the pursuit of the activity. But yet this is more thoughtful, right? I don't know if we're honoring that situation by remembering it and being very thoughtful about it, okay? But whatever it was, whatever the reason for it, it's still something that's lingering on your mind. And I believe that you're looking at it fondly. We're disappointed in something about it now, either disappointed that it's ending, disappointed that it was only a fling, it was only a short-lived flash in the pan, and it's not something permanent, or it has changed and has become something disappointed, okay? And so this is something that now is sort of is dragging us backwards, where we know we have to move forward. We know we have to end this and move forward. Position 5 is the Giant. Okay? And this reveals the driving force, the kind of motivation right now. This is what the energy is coming down from Spirit. And it's the Eon, judgment, rebirth, reawakening, the baptism by fire. This is a doorway of fire. This is to empower you to move ahead. It's saying, look, this past thing was great. It's over now. Let's get excited about what's coming next. Let's recap, let's debrief, let's do the postmortem or whatever you want to call it. Let's recapitulate and let's get excited about what's next, So we have to be ready to embrace the future. We have to be strong enough to let go of what we had, whether it was good or bad or somewhere in between. And we turn the page. We end the chapter. I feel like it's a chapter of your life. Maybe it was a short chapter. It feels like it was a very intense but short-lived thing. Very short chapter. It's over now. Let's get excited about the next chapter. Let's write the next chapter. Okay? Because this is a divine doorway, I want to do a divine doorway oracle card. Maybe we can get excited about the future here. A cure for longing. Love is happiness, a spark inside. Live deliberately and choose boldly. Then you have arrived. A cure for longing, right? Maybe what we are longing for now is this kind of intensity. If this was a romance, maybe we want that kind of passion. I want that chemistry. I want that spark. That's what I long for, right? But this fizzled out. This was it wasn't something that was long term. Maybe that longing is, I want to find those kinds of friends. I want to have that sort of team vibe, that camaraderie, and cheering each other on and all that kind of thing. But the game was over, or the season ended, or whatever it was, or that job has ended, or that project is over, and now the classes are over, and now I don't get that anymore. I experienced that when I was in EMT school. I was an EMT for a brief period of time out in California, and during the training, we bonded so well, everyone in the class, right? And it was so much fun. Every day, I could not wait to go to that class. It was twice a week. Could not wait to go to that class. It was just so much fun, right? To be around all those people and to do the work, and it was just great. And then the class was over, and it was just kind of like we all went out to celebrate on the last night of class, and it was kind of sad, because it was like, man, I'm not going to see you guys anymore, and but it's like that's the kind of bonding or the camaraderie or whatever you want to call it. That's what we we want in life a lot of the time, yeah. And maybe this is that cure for longing. Maybe it's like we can't just cling to what we had. The only cure for that longing is to go find that again in a new place, or to establish it somewhere else and just to move forward. We can't find it in the past. We can't go back. I can't go back and take the EMT training again and expect to have the same experience. It's not going to be the same. It may be good, and everybody like, it's not the same. These aren't the same people. I'm older now, obviously a lot older, and it's just not the same. Of course, I can't cling to those same people because they're off living their own lives now. They're doing their own thing. They're creating their own teams, their own bonding sort of groups, and that's what we're going to do. Yeah. So we got to go through this doorway and make that choice to put an end to the past and move on to this future. Now, this is the future position. Position 6, the imago. The next steps, right? Future events, the immediate actions for you to take. And this is the Princess of Swords, very curious energy. This is out there. This is living in the present. Okay, the queens are looking at the past. The queens are dealing with endings and how to deal with something ending. The princesses are all about the present. Right? So the next step for you is to start living in the present. Go out and meet people. Go out and try new things. Sign up for another class. Sign up for another project. Or, talk to more people. Be open. Communicate. Really get curious. The only cure for longing is to live deliberately and choose boldly. Right? As the doorway card says. To go out there and to do new things, to learn new things, to try new things, to get curious. This is a very curious card. And this is an energy that it gives us room to not be perfect, gives us room to fail. It's not saying that the very next person we meet is going to be the one. It's not going to say, the very next thing I sign up for, that's going to be my forever group of friends. No, it's saying I have to get out there, and I have to put myself out there, and I'm going to go through a lot of different things. I'm giving myself permission to not find it right away, to be okay if something doesn't work out. Let's say this was a very passionate romance, right? I know how you all love the romance readings. This was a very passionate romance. It's coming to an end. This card is saying I'm going to get out there and I'm going to meet other people. I don't expect the very next person I meet to be my forever romance or to have that same kind of passion. I don't expect the next person I meet at the grocery store to be my best friend, but maybe. But I'm open to all that stuff kind of happening, So the immediate steps for you, whether this is about money or careers, relationships, passions, goals, is to get out there and start exploring it. To start doing it again, to find other ideas, to workshop stuff, to start brainstorming, to start writing some ideas down, having different things to explore. Now we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. And as we do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. The readings are totally free. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay, now, Position 7 is the persona. And this is your public mask. This is the face that you wear, how you present yourself to the world. This is the mask or the costume we wear in the greater theater of life. This is how other people see us. And, well, it's the 7 of swords. And this is somebody that is kind of searching for a needle in a haystack. Yeah. In some ways, this card reminds me of that idea, like when we're busy making plans, that's when life happens to us, you know? Because this is somebody that seems to be searching for something very specific, and in the meanwhile, is missing out on a lot of the good things that are happening, you know? This is somebody that's trying to stick to that central sword, but there's a lot of distractions, a lot of other paths, right? A lot of distractions coming in. And in some ways, it's like these are all other opportunities knocking on your door, but you're clinging to that one thing that we're still maybe ruminating on. Rumination is a very powerful word. Something that we're still kind of dwelling on and thinking about. Meanwhile, there's all these other things that are going on around us, all these other opportunities, things to do, places to go, people to meet. And we're sort of stuck on this old thing. Yeah. So I think this, as the persona card, I think people see you as somebody who is very committed, someone who has maybe a difficult time letting things go. Yeah. People see you as somebody sensitive, you know, somebody that when there's a major event in life, it takes you a while to come to terms with it, to really integrate it all, to assimilate the energy, to think about it, to come to grips with everything, and then to move forward. There's like the transitional spaces for you seem to take a long time. And it may be, like I said, an energy that is so fixed on one idea that they're missing out on a lot of other really good options, you know? And I think that we have to ask, like, is this serving our highest good? This is like your general energy, you know? And it may be that we need some of these other distractions, that we don't want to be so fixed on this one thing. We want to love it for what it was, but we want to be able to move on from it too. Because for whatever reason, it's not the same as it was. For whatever reason, there's the ending of it, you know? And that's kind of our thing. You know, the 10 and the ace are not very different. They're just a 1 and a 0, right? So we're so fixed here inside this bird cage that we're missing out on all the other stuff that's outside the bird cage, right? And we may be feeling like, no, those are not things that I want because I'm supposed to be here. This is what I'm supposed to be. This is what I want. So we're clinging to this. And we're saying, no, I don't care about any of these other things. I'm not going to answer the phone. I'm not going to answer the emails. I'm not going to talk to any of these people because this is the only thing I want to do, right? And so I think that we're realizing this isn't quite serving us anymore. That we have to be willing to go out and just experiment with other things, knowing that none of these other things are going to be the one necessarily, at least not right away. But it will help us to have closure for this thing if we allow ourselves to be distracted. You know, someone dealing with a breakup and their friends are like, hey, let's just go out on the town this weekend or something. Let's go out on Friday night, right? Not because you're going to meet your soulmate, but just to get your mind off of that other thing. You know, I think that's important right now. I think we need to let ourselves be a little distracted. Now, position 8 is the shadow, uncovers the hidden events or influences in your environment, circumstances that test you by stirring something up within you. These two cards are very connected. Okay, just as these two cards. I should do a diagram. The Dove and Serpent spread is so complex, and it's a living spread, right? And so these two cards are very connected, right? And this is kind of like what Spirit is telling you to do. This is what we're afraid of. This is what you're feeling inside of you. This is what's going on outside of you that's making you feel this way, right? So with the Emperor energy in the shadow kind of position, this is, to me, feels like something external to you is taking this away from you. This is a card sometimes of control, of authority, of who's really calling the shots. And I feel like this is something that, whatever this event is for you, it's something that you're not necessarily choosing to end, but you're having to deal with the ending of it. You're having to kind of like say, okay, fine, it's over. But you don't want it to be over. I feel like somebody else is doing it, you know? This is the school that made, June the graduation day or something, right? It's something out of your control. But what you can control is how you deal with this, how you process the ending and retain those really wonderful memories or whatever it was, and move on. But you're not the one, I think, that has set the system up that is sort of necessitating the end of something, right? You didn't make the class schedule. You're not the one that kind of said, well, this is only a 2-week project and then we're all going to go our separate ways. You're not the one that decided to say, hey, let's let the passion run out of this relationship and then we'll break up or whatever, right? And so it feels like it's something outside of you that you didn't really get to choose it, because you would have chosen to continue, you would have chosen to stay in this flow, this harmony, this camaraderie, this team. It's like you didn't write the rule that says there's only 9 innings in a baseball game, Something else kind of made that for you. Because if it were up to you, we would stay here, because this is perfect. This is absolutely amazing. I would linger here forever if I could. But something outside of your control has changed that. And so, in a way, we could blame something outside of us and say, you're the reason why I feel the disappointment, right? So these two cards, very connected. And that's kind of like the external challenge is really stirring up these feelings. Yeah. But I don't think there's any blame really to go around. It's just kind of, it's one of those things where it's like, it is what it is, The next card is the Spectre, position 9. And this is your superpower card, so it makes it a really interesting thing here. This is another doorway card, right? This is a dark, scary doorway. This shows our fears, our worries, our concerns. It is the card of fear and worry and concern, right? We're afraid of being afraid, kind of. We're afraid of the uncertainty. We're afraid of going into the future and not finding anything that was as good as what we've had. So there are these worries that sort of haunt us. It's the Moon card. It is, it's a card of a dark doorway. It's a card of a dark, scary forest. Okay? And it's basically saying that, I don't want to have to go out into the unknown and search for something again. Because what if I don't find it? Right? It reveals the character of that inner dread, what we have to face in order to step into our power. What are we afraid of becoming? What are we afraid of not finding? Right? Or what are we afraid of admitting? Maybe we're afraid of admitting that, there was something about that 6 of Wands that I really wanted, that I liked, that I needed. Especially when we remember our 5 of Cups, and this is under the surface, so it could be like, yeah, hey, you know what? I didn't know that I cared about this as much as I do. And now I'm kind of confronted with this idea that says, hey, I kind of want people like this in my life. I want to feel this kind of connection. I want to feel like I'm part of a team and that we all have this shared energy and shared purpose. And I want to feel that. And now I had it. I want to run and I want to cling to it because I like it. Rather than saying, okay, that one had to end, but I can go have that again somewhere. I can create it again. I can build it up in my life. Again, these 2 cards are very connected. What Spirit is telling you to do and what we're afraid to do. We're afraid to take that step into the unknown. Spirit's saying, close the chapter and move forward. Let's do another Divine Doorway card, because that's another doorway. Okay? And that fear is going to limit your potential. If we don't take that step, change beckons you. The path is shifting. The road leads a new way. Don't be alarmed. A change beckons today. Don't be alarmed, right? This is a very positive thing. And it's very, it's unavoidable, really. Change beckons. Well, that's what the Moon card is all about, change. Stepping into whatever's coming next. Okay. And Well, it makes it quite interesting now to see that Three of Swords there, because that's the destiny card, the final outcome, right? And the outcome here is the realization that that what we might be clinging to, that what we might be reliving or ruminating on or stewing over, or what we might be stuck on, is restricting our ability to get what we want to get. So it's almost like it's a weird paradox, you know? I want something so bad that I'm clinging to something, but that clinging makes it more difficult for me to get what I want to get. So it seems obvious, okay, let go of that, even though that's what I wanted, right? We have to let go of what we want in order to get what we want. And so this is a card of sorrow. It's a card of memory. This is a card of reliving a past event or kind of getting stuck on something, reliving something to the point where it's interfering with how we're operating in the present moment, right? So this would be your Princess of Swords who's trying to live in the moment, but is maybe comparing everything to the relationship we had before, that everything is going to be in regards to this, or this is somebody that like they're going out on a date, right? And all they can talk about is the last great relationship that they had, like their ex that they're no longer with, or what, you know what I mean? It's somebody that's stuck on that past, and they don't realize that it's interfering with their future. It's interfering with what they're doing right now in order to build the future that they want. And this becomes an anchor. This becomes a complex, okay? And it's usually something that is operating underneath the surface. We very often see the Three of Swords either back here or down here. But now this is in your destiny. So I think this is you realizing that I need to let go of this, because my clinging to this thing is going to kind of restrict, right? Saturn in Libra. It's going to restrict my ability to get what I want anyway, right? Clinging to what we had, no matter how good, is going to prevent us from getting what we're supposed to get, no matter how good, you know. And so we understand the process of change on the intellectual plane. And I think that this is you allowing yourself to feel the feelings. We feel sad, disappointed. We feel kind of let down by the situation. It's kind of bittersweet, maybe. There's mixed emotions. And we're allowing ourselves to feel that, and then we're understanding that we have to let that go. Right? The process of creation on the mental plane. We can either let this thing become a prison for us, a birdcage, or we can appreciate it for what it was. We can do the Queen of Swords work of the post-mortem, right? The autopsy of the thing. And we can recapitulate, we can assimilate it, we can come to terms with it, whatever you want to, however you want to describe it. We can do that thought work, and then we can move forward, and we can figure out what we're creating next. And now we should look at the guide, position 11. It reveals your higher self, your inner teacher, the higher wisdom. This shows you the character qualities that you must develop in order to walk the path ahead. So this is probably going to be some more swords cards, right? Or it might be the Hanged Man, right? A card of acceptance. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. A King of Swords. This is a fixed air energy. The princesses are focused on the present. The kings, or the prince, is focused on the present too. But this is a fixed air energy. So what we have to be willing to do is be flexible in our mind. This is somebody that is stuck on something. Stuck on a belief, stuck on an idea, maybe stuck on, that's the best I'll ever do. I'll never find anything like this again. I'll never have this kind of friendship or camaraderie or this kind of passion or chemistry or spark. I'll never have this success again, right? Maybe this was a big win for you personally, and now we feel like I want to linger in that win. I don't want to have to let that win go. It's like somebody that gets a trophy, and everywhere they go, they're carrying their trophy. Because that's the win. I'm clinging to this win, but I'm clinging to that one so much that I'm not going to get another one. You know? So this doesn't have to be a relationship. This could just be a victory that you had, a win. And you had that win, and it's good. Celebrate it, maybe get some pizza. But let it go. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get the next one. So we have to be, this is, again, fixed, clinging type of energy. We have to be flexible. We have to be willing to change our mind. We have to say, that win was good, but I can do better. I got one win, 6 of wands. I want another one. I gotta let that one go. You know, you painted one masterpiece of a painting. You're not just gonna walk around sort of carrying a picture of your painting. Look, I painted that. No, you're gonna say, you're gonna sell it, donate it, give it away, throw it away, hang it in your bathroom, whatever. You say, I'm gonna paint the next one now. I can do it. I can do another masterpiece. Okay, so this doesn't have to just be a relationship with a person or a group of people, but it's a win. It's something that felt good, and you wanted to stay there, and you wanted it to feel good forever. But we realize that we have to let it go. We have to believe that I can do it again. And I have to at least believe that I can possibly do it again, right? Because then I can do the work, and I can create it again. But not if I'm stuck on that path. So I think this is a very important confirmation card. I think that this is showing us the direction that we have to move forward. We have to be flexible and open, and we have to yield. We have to let go. We have to release something. Yeah. Now, let the lessons of these 11 stations settle in your heart. Each card is a mirror. Each station is a temple of transformation, alternating between who you're becoming and the world you're creating. Remember, the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the patterns of possibility. It invites you to co-create your destiny. If this reading has illuminated your path, please share your reflections down below. Together we journey onward, ever upward and ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There is a link down below in the video description. New readings for Pisces on Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.